Breaking news! Tensions are rising behind the scenes of the Buffalo Bills. With the 2025 NFL Draft just around the corner, the front office is making moves that could completely reshape the team's future. Will they go after a game-changing wide receiver? Or double down on defense to dominate the AFC? But before we go any further, did you hit that like button yet? Backhand index pointing down if you believe the Bills have what it takes to make it to the next Super Bowl. Show your support, because honestly, I believe in this team so much. If you're with me, drop it in the comments. Go Bills! I believe. Stay tuned. Big things are coming in the 2025 draft, and the Bills are just getting started. The ESPN 2025 3-round mock draft just dropped, and the Buffalo Bills picks? Well, they've got fans talking, and maybe even yelling, across the 716. 3 picks. 3 chances to reshape the identity of a team that's knocking on the door of greatness but hasn't quite kicked it in. So let's talk about it, and not just surface-level stuff. We're digging deep into what Field Yates and Mel Kiper Jr. just projected for the Bills, and why it could mean a new era is brewing in Orchard Park. You might love it, you might hate it, but one thing's for sure, you're gonna want to hear every word of this breakdown. So here's the situation. Buffalo walks into this mock draft with pick 30 in the first round and 2 more bites at the apple in round 2, picks 56 and 62. No trades here, even though with 2 picks in the second, a trade-up felt like a real possibility. But this version stands pat, and now we know who the analysts believe will be heading to Western New York. At pick 30, Bills Mafia gets a new face in the secondary, cornerback Trey Amos out of Ole Mississippi. Now don't let the calm reaction fool you. This guy has the potential to shake up Buffalo's defense in a big way. Mel Kiper and Field Yates zeroed in on the cornerback position as the team's biggest weakness, and the numbers back it up. The Bills allowed a completion rate of 68.5% last season, 5th worst in the league. That's not just bad, that's dangerous if you're trying to survive in an AFC loaded with elite QBs. Trey Amos brings something the Bills are desperately short on: lockdown potential. 3 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, more than anyone else in the entire SEC. Let that sink in. The kid only allowed a 54.5 QB rating in coverage and gave up just 2 touchdowns on 62 targets. That's lockdown level production, and it's not coming from some powerhouse to NFL pipeline. Amos worked for this. He started off at Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns, and after a standout run there, transferred to Alabama. When Nick Saban retired, Amos pivoted again, this time landing at Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin. That's 3 different programs, 3 different cultures, and he improved every single time. At 6 feet 1 inch and with 4.44 speed, Amos has the profile to play on the outside from day one. His relative athletic score, RAS, a strong 8.37. His 10 feet 8 inches broad jump screams explosion. You're not just getting a coverage guy. You're getting a dog in press man situations, someone who disrupts slants, sticks with crossers, and makes QBs second guess throwing his way. Sure, his tackling needs work, he goes high too often, but the upside here is undeniable. And when your current starter is free agent Russell Douglas, you're telling me this guy couldn't push for that spot immediately? And for those asking, well, what about other corners? Yes, there were other names still on the board: Azer Thomas from FSU, Javon Rell Jr. from ECU, Benjamin Morrison Jr., Jacob Parrish, Darian Porter. But Rell's coming off an ACL tear. He was maybe the only other corner who could have been in the conversation at 30, and even that would have been a reach. But we're not done. Not even close. Because pick 56 rolled around, and Buffalo pivoted hard. Not defense, not another secondary piece, but an offensive weapon. The Bills selected wide receiver Savion Williams out of TCU. And if you're scratching your head at first, give me a second, because this guy, he's more than just a pass catcher. He's a weapon. Think Curtis Samuel, but bigger, more physical, less reliant on pure speed, and a whole lot more creative after the catch. Savion Williams is 6 feet 3 inches, 220 pounds, ran a 4.49, so not blazing, but you feel his presence on the field. He's the ultimate gadget guy. TCU lined him up everywhere, out wide, in the slot, even in the backfield. They ran him in motion, used him on jet sweeps, and even wildcat. He averaged 6.3 yards per carry and had over 4.2 yards after contact. This man broke 22 tackles, and when it came time to make big plays, 11 runs went for 10 plus yards, 7 went for 15 plus, and as a receiver, 8 of 9 on contested catches, 10 yards per reception, 6 touchdowns. Yes, the drop rate needs work. Yes, he's raw in certain routes, but the Bills aren't looking for an alpha WR1 here. That's what Keon Coleman's supposed to be. Stefon gives you diversity, a chess piece that can morph into whatever the offense needs on a given play. This pick says a lot about how Buffalo sees their offense evolving. They're no longer leaning on just a traditional vertical passing attack. They want versatility, mismatches, motion, options, and if Stefon can clean up those hands, he could thrive in the layered offense that Joe Brady is building. Then came pick 62, and Buffalo dipped back into defense. This time, edge rusher Oluwafemi Oluolejo from UCLA. And before anyone starts saying who, this guy was a pre-draft visit for the Bills. He's on their radar, and for good reason. A former off-ball linebacker who converted to edge, Olejo racked up 33 pressures in 2024, along with 14 tackles for loss, 2 pass breakups, and 4.5 sacks. Those aren't wild sack numbers, but what they do show is disruption. This guy lives in the backfield, and that's what you need in today's NFL, especially when Von Miller's replacement is only on a 1-year deal. Olejo's game is built on speed and power, but he's raw. The pass rush move set needs work. He's not a technician yet, but the traits are there. The Bills are banking on developing that talent and unleashing him in rotational roles early on. In a division where pressuring the QB is non-negotiable, you can't afford to let the cupboard run dry at edge. But let's be real, 3 picks in, and there's a glaring omission, no defensive tackle. Not one pick at that one-tech DT spot. Kenneth Grant was there at pick 30, and passed on. Darius Alexander, gone by 48. Yes, Buffalo needed a corner. Yes, a gadget receiver adds layers. Yes, edge depth is crucial. But defensive tackle is a major hole on this roster, and to not walk away with even a developmental piece there, that's a risk. So where does that leave us? Trey Amos at 30, Savion Williams at 56, Oluolejo at 62, a day 1 starter, a dynamic weapon, and a high-ceiling pass rusher. Field Yates and Mel Kiper gave us a B- draft, and that feels fair. There's promise here, no doubt, but the missing DT casts a shadow over an otherwise smart approach. Now it's your turn, Bills Mafia. Grade this draft. Drop it in the comments, A, B, C, D, or F. Are you riding with Amos as CB1? Is Savion the gadget guy this offense has been missing? And can Olu develop into a legit edge threat? Let me know what you think, and hit that like if you want more deep dives like this. Because if the Bills are serious about contending in 2025, it starts with getting this draft exactly right. And here's where things get even more interesting. Let's zoom out and really break down what this draft class tells us about Buffalo's mindset. When a team walks into a draft with 3 picks in the first 2 rounds and comes out with a cornerback, a hybrid receiver, and an edge rusher, it's not just about plugging holes. It's a statement about identity, a statement about direction, and maybe, just maybe, a shift in how this team plans to win football games in 2025. Let's start with Trey Amos again, because this pick cannot be overstated. In a league dominated by elite quarterbacks and deep receiver rooms, the Bills just landed a top-tier press man corner who's played in multiple schemes, dominated SEC competition, and knows how to find the football. The raw stats? They're eye-popping. The intangibles? Even more compelling. This is a player who rose through the ranks, adjusted to new systems, new coaches,